Hey everybody, it's Rob here. The Season 11 test server starts today in Diablo 4 and there are a ton of changes impacting basically every existing build as well as a full meta balance change. On top of that, we're getting Belial, we're getting new powers, we're getting leaderboards, we're getting the tower, we're getting new uniques for every class and the entire balance is gonna shift. We can test this all in just a few hours from today. I'll also be live on YouTube and on Twitch testing this all, and I've gotten a lot of questions here what builds I'm gonna test, and I'm most excited to look forward to play here come Season 11 and the test today. So I made obviously a very rough tier list draft. The big disclaimer, guys, obviously this all is gonna change. This is mostly copium, but people have asked me, and this is what we've come up with, whatever the top builds might be to play on this Season 11 test server that lasts for 1 week starting today. So without further ado, I quickly want to talk about all the classes very, very briefly. We also have a ton of planners and the full patch notes of what's coming today here. It's starting at 10:30 a.m. American time, so in just a few hours from now. And we have cooked up a ton of builds already that we're going to test and obviously min-max and change from the PTR depending on how the mechanics are. And you can quickly just, you can very easily here just click, I don't know, on any class, and you can kind of see here that we already have quite a few builds here to just filter through. We have one on Necro. But yeah, there's like a couple of them here, and I'm very much looking forward to jumping in here. So looking at the list here, right now you see in S tier, we're going to be ranking this based on the tower. We don't know what tier we're going to do. Overall, I think the power level is going to go a little bit down from what we've seen in Season 10. However, with Sanctification in the end game, we have a lot of scaling. So looking at some of the top potential builds here, you will notice one consistent thing here, the new redesigned Melted Heart. I've already made a couple of videos about this. There's basically this new amulet in the game that lots of the top builds here are playing, and this is the Melted Heart of Seelie, giving you a crazy scaling. And with your basically unlimited resources, you can also unlock unlimited or like crazy amounts of damage on various classes. And I think the two top beneficiary of this are Druid. Druid's been eating good for a couple of seasons now, and it's been eating, or it's gonna eat good again, especially around some like old new builds that are coming back. Cataclysm and Lacerate looks very potent. Mainly if you open these builds here, I don't know, we can probably look at the Lacerate one. There's a one Paragon node here, Ancestral Guidance, that basically scales 1% damage for your ultimate for every spirit you had when you casted it. And with Melted Heart, we're going to have like 15,000, 20,000 spirit. So that's 20,000% X multiplicative damage, right? And the crazy thing is, this also applies to many Barb builds. The crazy thing is, you can scale this. I haven't even changed this yet. You can scale this with Altkin, and you're going to choose this Ember Gift reinforcement, which basically currently gives you 33% primal resource per second when you're inside Altkin Storm. This works with all the Melted Heart build. Altkin is this like little demon here, and you can kind of see when she's doing the Firestorm on the target, which hopefully she's gonna do. There's a cooldown on it. But when it works, you're gonna get a ton of resources back. So this is just a normal attack that it does. And I think it has like a 20-second cooldown, and then it's up. This is the Firestorm. And you see like how many resources I get, like 300 resources, I get it back instantly, because this Altkin Firestorm, it scales with all your resource generation, so also with the Melted Heart, multiplicatively, and it's basically going to give you like 10,000 resources per second on some of these builds. So there's going to be tremendously powerful here. For example, here with the Lacerate Druid, and combining this with the Ancestral Guidance and with some other stuff here is going to make the Druid fly like crazy. And there's similar things you can do for the Druid here with the Cataclysm Druid, because Cataclysm is already crazy with the Lightning Bolt scaling, and now it also scales with all your resources. So that's going to be a pretty wild. And then, guys, also, I wanted to talk about this at the end, but it fits the class. There's also the group leaderboard coming. So if you're looking at this here, next to all the stuff, we're also getting the introduction of the tower. This is a beta feature, so it's going to release as a beta, and there's going to be a lot more testing, but there's also going to be a 4-player leaderboard here, and this might start basically a return of the group meta that people liked so much in Diablo 3 or also in other games, where you actually have some synergies. And the Druid is one of the best classes to have some crazy synergies here. I cooked up here a support ZDPS. Yes, you heard that right. It's a support Druid for the group leader, but I'm also going to link that planner in the Excel sheet that's linked down below. So try that out. I think it's going to be pretty fun to play with some friends and like maybe play a ZDPS, a very tanky fridge that's pulling the enemies, that's debuffing them, that's giving you like the debilitating roar, that's giving you the blood howl, the hurricane, and like a bunch of stuff here with stone bust and the shattered defense aspect. So there's a ton of cool stuff here for the Druid, and it's definitely one of the S tier classes yet again, I think. And then, guys, I already talked about this, but we're going to go from the top, the Barbarian. So the Barbarian also has crazy scaling. You can use a Hoda Barb. You heard that right, guys. 2 years ago, we've played this build. This is the Hoda Big Bonk Barb. And you can now scale it with Furious Hammer of the Ancients, plus Melted Heart. Going completely crazy. You remember this in Season 2, we had the more Fury you have, the more damage your Hoda will do. And that's exactly the same thing that we're gonna get back here. So the Barb's also eating good again. And you can do the same thing with Ramalatnis. So you can do Mighty Throw, you can do Lunging Strike, you can even do Whirlwind. It's not gonna be that strong, but like I'm mostly looking forward to like a Charge, a Kick, or a Leap Barb combined with the new Pantaloons here, in combination with the Ramalatni, in combination with the Melted Heart. So the S tier right now is dominated by Melted Heart builds. We'll see where the balance on that's going to land. I'm very excited to try it out in the PTR, and we'll see. Maybe it's not that crazy as I think, but I did some number crunches, and the Barb and Druid are looking very, very good. The brothers in melee. Then in A tier, there's even another Druid build, Pulverized Druid, probably still pretty strong. And this one is one of the strongest builds, I think, still, thanks to the Rotting Lightbringer not being changed. And this is like a crazy item. I really like this build, and it's pretty cool. So see, this still remained viable. It lost a bit of the Grizzly nerf, hit it a little bit, but I think this is still going to be one of the best builds in the entire game, especially because you can Sanctify like crazy on this. And if you Sanctify your Rotting Lightbringer, I don't know, with something like a Retaliation, you just need like one lucky hit on it, and you're gonna get like another 2.5x on this build with just a Sanctified Retaliation aspect on Lightbringer. It's gonna be pretty wild on the Druid again. And then another class here, the Necromancer. It's probably not gonna be as OP, but it has some pretty cool potential here with the new Golem aspect here. You have this like Grave Bloom. This is like a big golem aspect that basically makes your big golem into a couple smaller golems that basically are going to deal 60% of the damage and significantly also reducing the spawn rate. And summoning Necro has been pretty good already, and this is probably going to get even stronger now with the Glaive Boom here, and we can probably play a pure golem Necro. So I'm going to link this in the X sheet as well. Looking forward to try this on the Necro. I don't really think, apart from this, there's that much new stuff on the Necro, but we'll see what the season brings. It's also one of my lesser played classes, but summoning Golem Necro looks pretty cool to check out and to play here. Then next on the list, we have the Sorcerer. So obviously, Sorcerer has been, kind of nerfed with the perma-teleport, being completely nuked out of the game. We'll see how it's going to feel in the PTR. I highly encourage everybody to give feedback on this. I'm definitely a big fan of the perma-teleport and just the Sorcerer having fun. But there was a big discrepancy between speed farming on the Sorc and speed farming on literally any other class being like half as good or something. And I would have much rather liked to see them, for example, buffing the movement speed on the class that we just talked about, the Necromancer. Because the Sorc's up here, the Necromancer all the way down here, he's walking at 100% movement speed max. And I think it would be pretty cool, instead of nerfing the Sorc, to, I don't know, increase the movement speed cap, the way it works in D3, the way it works in PoE, and just have the Necromancer, the Druid, and all the other classes move at 300, 400% movement speed, instead of just changing the Sorc teleport. But either way, there is still this new item on the Sorc. They saw this here. This is the Or's Vein. This one looks pretty strong. It gives you 160x multiplicative, as well as all 4 enchantment of your defensive skills, as well as 5 core ranks. And in a world without masterworking, 5 core ranks is literally insane. And they also juiced a ton of the synergies for Frozen Orb. I'm not sure how strong Frozen Orb will be. But it was already a decent build, and it's going to get a ton stronger now. They basically reworked the Fractured Winterglass to scale summon damage pretty well, and scale with Frozen Orbs, and basically have a full unlocked multiplier there. And we'll see, especially with all the enchantments, like they have reworked a ton of the enchantments, and you're getting basically the entire offensive line as enchantments. So you're getting Cheat Death, Flame Shield enchantment for free. You're getting Frost Nova basically on your bar for free. You're getting Ice Armor whenever you drink a potion on your bar for free. And you're getting Teleport, which obviously is nerfed, but you're still getting Teleport, right? Like you still can teleport. So you don't need any of those. In fact, you can't have any of those on your bar to get the damage bonus. So what you do on this build, like you basically like put the points. I mean, Flame Shield doesn't really have any good upgrades, but you can like get all the upgrades here. You can get a ton of stuff here from all the different defensive skills. And you're going to basically be playing with 12 skills, like 4 defensive skills in your enchantment, Ice Blades in your enchantment, Frost Nova in your enchantment, and Frost Nova on your bar, Ice Blades on your bar, Lightning Spear, Unstable Currents, Familiar, and Spark. Like you're going to have like 12 skills on the Sorcerer with this new weapon. I think that's pretty cool. I hope it's going to deal decent damage as well. It's certainly going to be strong enough for T4 and all the content, maybe aside from like Super High Pit or Super High Tower. But we'll see how this is going to shake out. I have this in A tier for now, but probably it's going to move down to B tier. We'll see. There's also a build here that Armin has been cooking up here, so big shout out to Nevermind. He's been cooking up like this new Omen Druid with this Kashimi Stepwalker. They basically reworked the way that this Bad Omen works, and this might be a standalone build based on Lucky Hit. You have a chance to like trigger like your weapon damage, and this scales pretty well. We'll see how strong this is going to be, but that's another like cool build that I'm looking forward to see. And then talking about the Spiritborn, I've chatted a bit with Immortalize and some other players here. I've also checked Spiritborn a little bit with some of the Evade blasters. Evade's probably still going to be a decent build in Season 11. I also cooked up like a baseline planner here. It's just going to be very hard to achieve the perma Evade now. You might need to cast Thunder Spike like every few evades because you're not going to have the Masterworks and you're not going to have the crazy Shaco and stuff. But I think we can still reach like a decent state for evade. It's still going to be a good farming build, but it's not going to be, as crazy as it was, as you remember it in Season 10. But there's some pretty cool new stuff, which we don't fully know how it's going to work yet. In particular here, the Jaguar main hall. There might be a full build based around this, depending on how it scales. I think it's probably best to read in the patch notes here. So when we go down, oh, it's probably not in here. Okay, it's in the other patch notes. There's like two patch notes. Either way, if we look at the Jaguar main hall, there is a couple of things here. We don't know exactly how it's going to scale your damage. It's basically, instead of doing the damage that you already did, it's doing percent weapon damage. And it starts at 100%, and then it doubles every time you get stacks for this. So every 15 times it doubles. And we are not sure how it's going to scale. You know, it could scale 100% base times 2, which is 200. And then maybe it's going to double it again 5 times. So you get 100, 200, 400, 800, 1,600, 3,200. So if you get that, then this might be a standalone build just based on the Jaguar Hall. There's also some build potential, which I haven't done yet fully. It's still all work in progress, guys. On the Centipede Hall, which is the same thing, you basically combine the Centipede, 160 poison damage. You want to have an attack like Rake or Quill Volley that attacks 8 times. And then you would combine this with the Noxious Resonance Burst with guaranteed crits. So you'd be looking at, let's say you take Quill Volley. I'm not sure if it's going to work. Quill Volley hits like, I think, 8 times total. So maybe you can stack this 8 times. So it starts at 160 here. So 160 weapon damage. You stack it 8 times with 1 Quill Volley attack. And then you have 1.2k weapon damage. And then you would instantly burst this with your Noxious Resonance for another times, what is it? Times 3. So you'd already be looking at 4,000% weapon damage as well. If it's going to work like this, we have to see and test this on the PTR. That's why I haven't made the full planners yet. But there's a lot of potential. And you can always go back to the standard like Quill, Kepeleke build. And there's also another big question mark of how the new boots are going to work. Because the new boots here on the Spiritborn, they basically say that every 4 meters you move, and this is basically the distance of 1 evade, right? If you're in the game and you're in Spiritborn, you just evade, and this is about 4 meters, right? This evading is moving 4 meters. So every evade, similar to the current season, would cast your core skill. And if that can trigger Kepeleke, and then be combined with like Banished Lords and 275 resources, and every time you evade, it's triggering a Kepelecke, it's spending all your resources, and it's overpowering and all that shit. Maybe that's going to be an insane build as well. I haven't cooked the planners yet. I didn't have time. But we're definitely going to be like checking all this out, and we'll see what other people are going to be testing here on the Spiritborn as well. But it looks pretty promising. And then, guys, last but not least, there's also the Rogue class. The Rogue got some love for Dance of Knives. However, I don't really, first of all, play much Rogue, but I also don't really feel that the Rogue is in that great a spot. It seems similar to the Barbarian, like the past seasons. And the Barbarian got a lot of stuff now, and I think the Rogue still needs some buff, even after the Paragon changes. So maybe with Dance of Knives, you're going to have an okay build for speed farming and stuff. Like Spin to Win is definitely stronger on Rogue than on Barb. So that's pretty okay. But long term, I think like Death Trap and stuff is going to be very hard without the Master working at the Tempers. We'll have to see how this is going to turn out. I'm probably not going to be testing much Rogue. We only have 7 days, guys. And I plan on at least playing like 5 classes or at least 4 classes. Like I'm going to start, obviously, with a Barb. The Barb Nation has been weak for a year. And yeah, maybe this time, guys, the Barb with Kick, with Charge, maybe even with Leap. Also scaling, you know, like pretty crazy with attack speed now. There might even be like a Leap Quake version that we can do, and we can charge, and there's just like a ton of cool stuff on the Barb to definitely test with this new Pantalones that we're gonna get. And I'm really looking forward to it. And then probably we're gonna do Sorc, Spiritborn, Necromancer. I really want to test the Summon Necro, and Druid. I definitely going to test Druid as well. So those 4 classes are definitely locked in. And then if we have time, we're going to test some other classes. We'll see, guys. Again, the PTR starts in a few hours here. I'll be live probably by the time you're watching this video, or in an hour or 2 from now. And yeah, we're going to jump in. We're going to kill some Asmodan. We're going to do a lot of Gamba, guys, on the Sanctification here. There's this like big angel here, and you're going to sanctify a lot of items. And that's going to be pretty exciting. So we're going to pet the kitty. We're going to do a big Gamma stream. And we're going to test all the Barb stuff on the first day here. And maybe we'll climb the tower and we do some leaderboards and check all that out. Hope you guys enjoyed it, guys. I'll see you here live. Let's go. See you soon. GG. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like or a comment. I'm also live on Twitch almost every day. So come and say hi.